Welcome to Pete Details, my first ever YouTube video. I am located in southern Ontario, Canada, and it is a beautiful, cold March morning. We are in the process of trying to warm up here. Typically, we would still have snow at this time of the year. But I got lucky and it's been warm the last few days, and as soon as it warms up, people start calling to get their cars done. So here we are, the first car of the year. It's a 2017 Mustang GT. I'm not sure the name of the blue on this car, but I love the blue. It's an awesome color. Let's see, the first thing we're going to be doing here is I believe, staring here at the picture. I'm not sure why I'm not doing anything. Oh, there I am. I finally came into the picture. I wonder what I was doing. Anyways, first thing I'm going to be doing is, looks like shampooing the engine. Now this Mustang wasn't all that dirty. It gets stored for the winter time, and it's mostly just dust. So just a quick blow off, little McGuire's APC scrub brush, and then blow off again. And that's it. There's not a lot to this one. It had a little bit of, like I said, a little bit of salt stains in the hood insulation cover, but other than that, it was in good shape. This Mustang does get stored for the winter time, so it does not see any salt, and we do get a lot of salt up here in Canada during the winter time. You'll have to bear with me because since this is my first time doing this is my first time trying to do a voiceover, so I'm not exactly sure how well or how smooth this will go over. Hopefully I will get better. A little bit about me as you watch me detail this engine or clean this engine. I do not do this as a full-time job. I do this out of my house, basically on weekends, spring, summer, fall. Not so much in the winter time because usually we're buried under snow and it's cold. I do have a regular job. I'm in sales on the Great Lakes fisheries, but I've always loved detailing cars. So this is what I've been doing for the last 26 years of my life on the side, basically. I just do it out of my garage, as you can see in the background. Nothing fancy, although I do have a nice paved driveway, which I just got done. Having a gravel driveway has been a pain in the butt, as some of you might be aware. So it's nice to finally have pavement. Here we are, just blowing off the engine. Just quickly, you don't have to do anything heavy on this. There's no open air breathers on this, so you don't have to worry about getting anything wet. Everything else is covered up. So, you know, the one trick I know a lot of these guys will tell you is don't blow the pressure washer right into the engine close, which is a good point. You know, you just stay back. You're really trying to do most of the cleaning with the scrub brush and the APC that you're spraying on. So you can almost just do this with a hose as well if you wanted, and a spray nozzle. Let's see, once again, it's probably 39 degrees Celsius at this time while I'm doing this. It's supposed to warm up. This day got up to about 55, so it ended up being a very nice day after all was said and done. But I had to get this done first thing in the morning so I could go on to the next step, which was going to be a buff. They want a full buff on this paint job and then ceramic coating. So today in this video, we're going to be watching me basically shampoo the engine, wash the car, iron decontaminate the paint, and then we were going to move on to doing clay barring. Now this car wasn't that old and it gets stored during the winter, so I didn't actually have to use a clay bar. I just used like an auto scrub or a Sonax clay disc because it had almost nothing in the paint. And even the paint job itself wasn't in that bad of shape. It just required some spots here and there. You know, it had its typical marring from being washed, the spiderweb looking reflection, and then had a few spots where they had rubbed up against a brush or a tree or something, and then a few marks on the roof from where the owner's father had put something down on it and then decided to drag it across the hood or the roof, leaving a nice trail of scratches. Other than that, it's in pretty good shape. A few scratches here and there, but very minor compared to older cars. So as you can see, I'm still working on the engine. So if you're wondering why I'm videotaping myself doing this, oh, and now I'm bringing out the Eco 580 leaf blower. This idea, I have to give credit to Matt Mormon at Obsessed Garage. I used to use a gas blower, leaf blower, for this, which got really noisy and stinky, and it started getting expensive with using a lot of fuel. With this, you know, it wasn't cheap to buy. It was probably $400. But with the battery, it's much quieter. It doesn't smell. It's easier to take around with me. My wife doesn't complain about it. So it just works out better for me. I really like that thing, but Matt from Obsessed Garage, he's the one I got that from. He uses that, or started using that, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. So here I'm spraying on Meguiar's Hyper Dressing. Now with this Meguiar's Hyper Dressing, there's two things you can do. Once the engine's cleaned, you can either spray on the Hyper Dressing, which I put at a 3-to-1 ratio because I like a nice satin finish. I don't like gloss. So it's at a 3-to-1 diluted ratio. You can either spray it on, close the hood, and let it dry it itself, which does an excellent job. Or what you can do, which Jim White at White Details does a lot of this, is spray it on with the dressing and then you blow it off. Where you can either use your leaf blower or a master blaster or whatever you have. And you can blow off it and wipe down a few little spots here and there. As you can see, I was just wiping down the hood so it doesn't water spot after on the top part. You don't spray that down with the dressing. I'm basically just wiping it down so it doesn't water spot at all. So now we're just rinsing the car down. We're going to get ready, I'm assuming here, for a wash. So wheel wells, wheels. I did not clean the wheels on this car. Because the wheels actually, I took these off the car later and did them separately. So there wasn't much sense of washing them now. So you won't see me washing the rims and tires in this video. But everything else gets washed. So as you can see, I'm still going around the car, hosing it off. This car actually came to me pretty clean. It actually came out of storage straight to me. So it wasn't dirty other than dust from just sitting all winter in a storage barn somewhere. So, oh, I guess I forgot. I got to take the license plates off. So anytime I do work on a car for buffing, I got to take off the license plates because you want to make sure that you buff behind the license plates, you know, and not around them. It takes 2 seconds. It's not a lot of work, but it adds a nice touch. When the customer does go and take their plates off sometime in their life and they see that it's just as clean back there and buffed as it is on the outside of the car. So here I am taking off the license plates, and then I will actually get to washing the car. In the meantime, I was just mentioning why I'm making YouTube videos. So I decided to make a YouTube video because, well, I have been watching lots of YouTube videos on car detailing. As I mentioned before, I watched Obsessed Garage for the last 4 years. I've been watching him. Another guy that I like to watch is White Details, Jim White over in England. That guy is fanatical, and he's awesome at what he does. I now watch another one called Ride and Shine. out of, I believe he's in Belgium, Surge. And that guy's on another level, even above Jim White, which is crazy. And then there's a couple over here in the U.S. I do watch another channel called Apex. Guy has, I think his name's Brian, has great tips. I've actually gotten quite a few tips from actually watching his videos, so I do like to watch him. And I've watched a few of the esoteric videos. I've actually been to esoteric for detailed training. I've done their course. I'm hoping to head out to the Rupes advanced sanding course this fall to go and further my skills in my part-time job here. But I do like to watch the esoteric videos, even though they're short, and a lot of them are just based on products. I don't, I'm not really big into product reviews, but every once in a while they do give a few quick tips here and there. But Brian at Apex gives a lot of great tips on that. Jim White, you can pick up a few things here and there, and a lot of these guys don't like to give away their secrets. But if you watch it enough, you'll notice that these guys will give away little bits and pieces here and there over the years, especially if you go back and watch a lot of their older videos, like I do or have in the past. So I'm just checking to see. Sorry, I'm on my computer looking something up, so just bear with me. Let's see. Oop. Well, I guess I can't look it up. Anyways, so I am going to be hopefully trying to get through this in one piece without embarrassing myself or pissing off everybody so nobody ever watch my videos again. So once again, the reason I'm doing these videos is I like to watch detailing videos, so I'll probably end up watching myself wash cars I've already done, which is kind of weird. Number two, I'd actually like to see if I can make a little bit of money off of YouTube, not selling stuff. I'm not into selling products or selling t-shirts or any of that stuff. But if I can make a little bit of money off of subscription and views, and it can pay for some of my car details, my detailing products, you know, I'm more than happy to do that. Besides, I think it'd be kind of fun to do this, even though it's a little awkward here at first. Hopefully, I'll get better at this, because, like I said, I've never done this before. Seems a little weird talking to yourself. I'm actually doing this while my kids are asleep and my wife's upstairs asleep. So I'm here by myself and the dog. So here I am blowing off with the Eco Blower again. So after I got done washing, I will then blow the car off. 70% dry. It doesn't get it all off, but it gets the majority of it off. And I'll just go around, do the whole car. And then basically after this, then I'll get out the Meguiar's Iron Decon, I believe is what they call it. It's a new product that they just came out with this year. Actually, I really like it so far. I used to use, or have used, CarPro Iron X, which works really good. So I thought I would try the Meguiar's product simply because it's a little cheaper, and I want to see if it was just as good. And what I'm finding with the Meguiar's product is that it is more of a gel-like product than it is a watery product. The CarPro is very watery, and you spray it on the car, spray it on the rim, and it just runs. What I find with the Meguiar's product is that it goes on the car almost like snot, as they put it. It's like a gel. It just sticks. You spray it on, it sticks on there. And I think I, so far, like that a little better. It gives me the ability to go around on a really bad car and then further agitate it in with a microfiber towel if I need to. But the nice thing is it's not running off the car. It just sticks there until I move it around myself. So, oh, I guess I'm not doing the iron decon yet. I'm doing the door jambs. So here we are, doing the door jambs. In the spray bottle right there is just O&R. I like to spray the door sills and all that down with just O&R. These weren't too bad, once again. If they're really bad, I'll use a pressure washer and just spray them down quickly to get any big pieces of dirt out of there. But for the most part, I just use O&R, spray it down, and then I'll use Meguiar's APC again and my detail brush, and I just manually go to work cleaning out the door jambs. You know, I'll do all the door jambs, sills. I'll do the trunk, as you'll see here shortly. I'll probably do the trunk next. You know, it's such a little thing, but it makes such a big difference, as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, that a clean door jamb is almost better than a clean car. Because when they see inside the door jambs, when they open up the door, and they notice how clean that is, that's when they know that you've really put a lot of thought and detail into cleaning someone's car. You know, because you got to remember, most of these people wouldn't do this themselves. You know, that's why they're bringing it to you in the first place. You know, so these guys are amazed half the time when they're picking up their cars, like, geez, you did inside the door jambs, the door hinges. Yep, yes I did. So anyways, so I'm going to do this for a while, and while I continue to work on this, I will keep yammering away. So what I did was I took a microfiber towel. Yes, that is a Costco microfiber towel. Thank you very much. And I am just going to wipe everything down. I've got water in my little bucket there, and basically I'm just wiping down the door jambs. I'm trying to use as little water, spray as little water around the doors and the seats as possible. You know, when I first used to do this, I used to just spray it with the power washer and make a giant mess. So I learned to stop doing that, stop making more work for myself. You ever heard the saying, work smart, not dumb? Well, I used to work dumb. Now I try to work somewhat smart. Not always, just somewhat. Anyways, so we'll continue working on the door jambs. I think next we go on to the trunk. And the trunk, as you're well aware, can be a mess sometimes, the trunk jambs. Especially on older cars, you know. But one thing nobody ever cleans is your trunk jambs. And I mean, nobody ever cleans. I mean, not detailers, but as in car owners. You know, I don't think they ever pop the trunk other than to get in it. They don't pop it to check those jambs out when they're cleaning their car. So sometimes they can be a mess. This car, they weren't too bad, actually. So once again, just O&R everything, soak everything down, and APC, and then detail brush. Another, once again, you can't really power wash these out as I used to try in my younger days. Once again, work smart, not dumb. So basically I just end up wiping these all down just like the door jambs. So I will continue to do the trunk here, and then I'll move on to the next door on the driver's side. But I don't think I showed that in the video. So, once again, talking about why am I doing this. So I'd like to make some money off of making YouTube videos. So A, I could buy more products so I can use. And B, you know, if I could actually get somebody to watch my videos and I can get some, you know, decent views, then I would eventually like to maybe buy a car like this, because I don't own a car like this. You know, I have a wife and 2 kids, one in university and one in public school still. So, like most typical males, I have no money because it all goes to my kids and my family and my dog and taxes. Because remember, I live in Canada, so we pay a lot of taxes here in Canada. And oh, by the way, if you're wondering how much gas is here in Canada right now, it equates to almost $5 a gallon, US dollars a gallon. Now, I think in Europe you guys pay a lot more. Not that anybody from Europe's watching this or would want to watch this, but if you are, you guys pay even more than we do in Canada. But I think our taxes are pretty close to what you guys pay in Europe. So, the goal is if I could actually get people to watch some of these videos, then maybe, just maybe, I could get myself a nice car or a nicer car like this. Nothing fancy, just nicer. No, that is not my car in the background. That would be my daughter's car in the background that she owns. It's a 2004 Toyota Matrix. No, it's not for sale and you can't have it. She loves the car. Not. She hates the car. But it's her mode of transportation to get to and from school and work. So she puts up with it. I, myself, drive a 2013 Honda Accord Sport. Now, the only thing that's somewhat sporty about it is it has dual exhaust and it has a 6-speed transmission, stick transmission. Other than that, it's a 4-door sedan. It's not the fastest thing in the world. It does look somewhat nice, and then maybe in one of these videos, I'll do a quick video on it. But it certainly would be nice to have a nice car like this or some other type of sports car that doesn't have 4 doors, preferably, maybe 2 doors. So, as you can see, now I'm trying to figure out how to close the trunk because for some reason Ford decided not to put a pull-down lever on it, unlike my Honda, which does. And remember, the whole back of that trunk lid is piano black and there's nowhere to grab. I'm not quite sure why Ford would do that, but they did. Not the smartest design in the world. So once again, it's a Ford, it's not a Honda. Apparently they can't design handles to close the trunk. Hey, look, I'm finally doing the Meguiar's Iron Decon, as I've been talking about for quite a while. So here we are doing the Iron Decon now, and yes, I'm doing it in the sun. Now, the car is wet, and what I've learned is that Meguiar's actually prefers that you do this on a dry car because it doesn't dilute the product down. I mean, the car is pretty new. I don't think there wasn't a lot of iron in it, and I really didn't want it in the sun going, attempting to dry out on me, because I wanted to spray the whole car down instead of just doing one section at a time, 2 sections at a time. So that's why I wet the car down. So I'm spraying the whole car down. Actually, I don't even think I saw any purple come out. But once again, it's hard to tell on blue. It's really hard. So I'm spraying the whole car down. I really don't let it sit that long. And then I basically spray it off. And whether it did anything or not, I have no idea because I didn't see any purple. But we did it, just in case. So here we are, spraying off the car in all its majesty. When I speed these up to make it look like I'm actually working quickly. If I put this down to regular speed, you'd think I was some old man moving really slow. But at this pace, it actually looks like I'm, somewhat energetic and know what I'm doing. So we're going to go around the car, spray all this down, and I think we're moving on to auto scrub and clay disc next. How exciting. So it may not be exciting, but it is a very important step in the process before we buff the car out. We need to make sure before we buff this car that all the contaminants are out of the paint so it doesn't get in our buffing discs. On this car, I ended up using a Rupes wool disc, actually. Wool pad I use the coarse pad, but we'll get into that in the next video. I'll explain all that as I continue to hose down this car for what seems like forever, even after I sped it up. So the other thing I didn't do on this car, which you didn't see me do because I didn't do, was, oh, and here comes the clay disc. So that pink bottle right there is, even though it's a CarPro bottle, it is actually Adam's detail spray. And typically I don't use detail sprays when I'm claying. I'll typically just use soap. But for today, for some reason, I decided to get out the detail spray since I've got it. I figured I might as well use it. I apologize for coughing. I seem to, all this talking, I need something to drink. So I'll have to remember that for the next time when I'm doing all this talking. Anyways, so we're using Adam's detail spray as my spray lubricant, and I'm using right now a Sonax clay disc, which I do like for the big areas because you can go over pretty quickly. And then for the smaller areas and curves and awkward areas, I use the, as you can see, it's sitting on the back spoiler there. I use the little auto scrub, and that works good too. And the reason I'm using these discs and auto scrub, simply for the fact that it wasn't very contaminated. There's no sense in getting out the big heavy clay bar on this. But the other nice thing about these is I have a tendency of dropping clay bars because they seem to slide right out of my sausage finger hands for some reason. So with these clay discs, as you're well aware, you drop them on the ground, you just rinse them off at a bucket or with a hose, and they're good to go. Unlike a piece of clay, which you have to throw in the garbage, and which costs like, I think, $12 a piece. So that really sucks after a while. So that's why I like using clay discs on newer cars if I can get away with it, simply for that fact, so I don't have to worry about dropping them. Because I seem to have butter fingers. I guess I'll never play in the NFL. So here we are. So now I'm just rinsing off the car after doing the claying, just rinsing off all the detail spray. The nice thing about after claying is the car really, the water really beads nicely off of the paint. You know, for most people, you could just get away with claying your car, and if you didn't care about the scratches that are on it, you could just wax it. It'll be perfectly smooth, and you'll have, you know, beautiful looking beads of water sitting on your car and running off, super hydrophobic. Unfortunately, you'll just have all the scratches underneath it, but you could technically do that, I guess. I guess a lot of people do. So yeah, so we are just finishing up doing the clay disc here, and oh, there I go. Now I'm working on the front of the car, and this, as this year goes on, we get in the summertime, is more important, especially with bugs. You know, I know Matt at Obsessed Garage says in Florida they have what's called love bugs. We don't have those up here in Canada. We have just a lot of bugs, mosquitoes, flies, bees, hornets. It seems like everything gets stuck in the front of cars, car grills, pickup truck grills. So it's not so important now, but in the summertime, claying is very important because usually these front ends are just destroyed by bugs. So that tells me that this video is coming to an end, and hey, you're getting into the car and you didn't blow dry it off. I must have cut that part out. Huh. Okay, well, I'm getting into the car and I'm driving into the garage. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll stay tuned for part 2. I'll make sure I have something to drink next time so I don't cough and choke and have scratchy throat during this. And please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.